Hello, I am Deepak Maini, partner from ASC Insolvency Services LLP. Today, we are bringing this presentation to you on verification of claims under Corporate Insolvency Resolution Process. This particular video is targeted or meant for our insolvency professional brothers and sisters. I'm sure with our past experience, this video will be very useful for the IP fraternity. And in this context, I have pleasure in introducing Ms. Richa Garg. She is a chartered accountant and working in our team for the last 4 years now. And she has handled claim verification in CIRP and liquidations, and has virtually become an expert, at least to the extent that she can guide others, how to do these things and what process is to be followed. So, without wasting much time, I request Richa to guide us. I have prepared some questions for her so that it becomes an interactive and doesn't become boring. So I'll put up questions in respect of claim verification and request Richa to please let us have your experiences in the matter. Okay, my first question to you is what is the relevance of filing claims?
So it's very important to file the claim for every of the creditor. So entire process of the claim starts from the public announcement. IRP needs to make a public announcement within 3 days of CIRP initiation order, and it is considered as an announcement of CIRP and inviting the claims from various categories of claimant against the corporate debtor. So it is very important to file the claim, otherwise a financial creditor, any of the creditor, lose the opportunity for the settlement of his claim. Vital decision of CD, control over CD and various sub-processes under the CIRP are taken after the approval from the COC members. So if any of the financial creditor who does not submit his claim loses the opportunity for the participation in the management of corporate debtor.
Right, that's right.
So a financial creditor whose claim is admitted is entitled to attend the COC meetings. A financial creditor who submit his claim late, thereby the late admission, it means that the past decision which we have already taken cannot be reopened at the behest of late entrant. Therefore, it is most important for every creditor to submit their claim within the due timelines. Otherwise, the same will not be entertained by any of the successful resolution applicant and it will not be settled.
Fine. What practically we are doing for calling claims, at times we go through the balance sheet of the corporate debtor. Right. And really get back to major creditors, financial creditors, and push them, call them that right. They should file their claim.
They should file their claim.
That exercise we do, though it is not prescribed under IBC, but still, for comprehensive coverage, we always contact them.
Right.
Richa, my next question is, what type of claimants or creditors and what type of forms are used in the CIRP process?
So there are basically 6 types of claimants and we will discuss one by one. So let's start from the operational creditor and regulation 7 dealt with the operational creditor. Form B is required to be submitted by operational creditors. Now who are the operational creditors? So as per section 5 subsection 21 of the code, operational debt means a debt in respect of providing goods or services. It also includes employment or a debt in respect of repayment of any dues arising under any law for the time being in force and repayable to central government, state government or any other local authority. Now number 2 are the financial creditors and regulation 8 dealt with the financial creditor. Form C is required to be submitted by financial creditors. Now who are the financial creditors? So as per section 5 subsection 8 of the code, financial debt means a debt including interest, if any, which is lent for a contemplation of return in the form of interest. So there must be a time value of money for a financial creditor. Now the question arises how to bifurcate between operational creditor and financial creditor. So there are various judgments and orders of NCLT. For example, in one of the case of DF Dutch Forfeit and AGOs Limited versus Uttam Galva Steels Limited, in which NCLT clarifies that business always runs keeping in mind the time value of money. The transaction will be operational if it is for providing goods and services, and transaction will be financial if the money is lent in contemplation of return in the form of interest. The intent of the transaction is necessary in order to bifurcate between operational creditor and financial creditor. Now, number third category is financial creditors in a class. Basically, home buyers are treated in this category, and regulation 8A dealt with the home buyers. And Form C is required to be submitted by the home buyers. Number fourth category is claim by employees and workmen, and Regulation 9 dealt with the claims of by employees and workmen, and Form D is required to be submitted by employees and workmen. Number fifth category is authorized representative of employees and workmen, and Form E is required to be submitted by authorized representative. The claimant which do not fall in the above discussed category will be treated as other creditors, and Regulation 9A dealt with the other creditors, and Form F is required to be submitted by the other creditors.
Okay, Richa, now guide us where all these forms are available. If I am a claimant and I have to find a form, where do I get it from?
So all these forms are easily available at the IBBI website. We can download it from the IBBI website.
Okay, are we indicating in our public announcement where these forms are available? Are we indicating?
Yes, we are indicating, and we are giving a separate email ID as well that you can mail to our, and they can send us your claim for your claim file.
Fine. Then please apprise us about what laws are available or related to claim verification.
As we have already discussed the regulation number 7 to regulation number 9A, now comes to the regulation number 10. It is regarding substantiation of the claim. So IRP, RP may call for any additional evidences, any additional documents, clarifications from the claimant in order to substantiate the claim wholly or partly.
You mean, suppose we have received a claim and we find that it is not supported properly by relevant document, so we get back to them or we write
we can send them mail that these documents are required, these are the discrepancies, kindly provide the documents so that we can verify them.
At times we also ask about, like especially in financial creditors claim, if rate of interest is claimed, the proof or the basis of the rate of interest.
Right, interest rate statement or the section letter in which the interest rate is mentioned. So we can ask them.
Fine.
So next is regulation 11, which dealt with the cost of proving debt. So obviously the cost of proving debt will be on the creditor. Creditor has to bear the cost of proving his or her debt. Now the next regulation is regulation 12. It is regarding the submission of proof of claim. So in public announcement, a dedicated email ID is always given for the creditors to submit their claim along with the supporting documents. So they can file their claim within the timelines which is mentioned in public announcement. If any of the creditor fail to submit within that timeline, they can submit their claim till the 90th day of insolvency commencement date. So any of the financial creditor whose claim is admitted, they are entitled to attend the COC meeting and will become the COC members. The next regulation is regarding the 12A, which is on updation of claim by creditors. So any creditor may update their claim wholly or partly after the insolvency commencement date. So regulation 13, the next regulation is regulation 13, which is on verification of claim by IRP or RP. So IRP or RP needs to verify the claim within the 7 days from the last date of submission of claim, and maintain a list of claimant in which he should maintain the name of claimant, their email ID, mobile number for communication, their claimed amount, bank details, etc. And this list of claimant will be available for inspection by the person who has submitted the claim, members, directors, partners and guarantors of corporate debtor. And this list will also be published by the IRP or RP on the website of corporate debtor and at IBBI website. The list should also be submitted with the adjudicating authority and presented before the first COC meeting.
I have a question before you go to the next regulation. You said the list can be verified or it is available for inspection to directors, partners, members. Like, can you expand on this? If some other claimant wants to see my claim, will it be in order? Like, what is your view on that?
No other claimant can review the claim submitted by the other claimant. They can review, they can ask the queries regarding their own claim, not about the other claimant. But yes, the list is available, as I have already discussed, that the list is available at the corporate data website, at the IBPI website, so they can check the status, that what is the status of this claimant. But yes, the document will not be available for the inspection.
Fine, that is. Okay, then next regulation.
So next regulation is regarding the determination of claim, regulation 14. So if IRP is of view that the amount of claim is not determinable because of any contingency or any other reason, so in that case, IRP can use his best estimate or the judgments on the basis of documents available with him. And later on, he can change the amount if he comes across any additional document or clarification from the claimant.
Fine. You said the creditor can update or change or modify his claim. Is it bound by the 90 days limitation, or can I modify beyond the 90 days limitation?
Yes, he can modify even after the 90 days. The 90 day is for the claim submission, but yes, he can file any additional document or clarification even after the 90 days. There is no foundation of 90 days.
Fine.
So the next regulation is regarding the regulation 15, which is on debt in foreign currency. So there may be the possibility that IRP may comes across any of the claim which is submitted in the foreign currency.
Okay.
So in that case, IRP have to convert it into the Indian currency, and at the rate which is published by RBI from time to time, he has to take the rate which is on insolvency commencement date and published by RBI.
You mean to say the exchange rate which is given by the RBI as on that particular CIRP commencement date will be the relevant conversion date of the currencies for converting it to Indian rupees.
For example, if we have received a claim of, for example, $1,000, and as on insolvency commencement date, $1,000 is equal to 70 rupees.
Okay.
So in that case, we have to take the 70 rupees for converting the $1,000 claim into the Indian currency.
That's a very fine input. But have we so far received such claims
Yes,
practically?
yes, we have received in one of our cases.
Okay. What was the size of that claim? Do you remember the amount?
Yeah, it was in around some $1 lakh around.
So if it is $1 lakh, it becomes 70 lakhs.
70 lakh, right. If we take 70 rupees as on insolvency exchange.
That is interesting. Fine. That's a good guidance, Richa. Then, suppose I am a claimant and I want to file my claim. What instructions or guidance will you like to give me for filing the claim?
So there are various points or various instructions which should be kept in mind by the creditor while filing their claim. So we'll discuss here the broad or the major instructions which must be considered by every of the claimant. So number one is that to file the correct type of claim form. First, the creditors need to decide whether he is a financial creditor, operational creditor, employee, workman or other. Number two is that all the field in the claim form must be filled completely. For example, name of corporate debtor, name of claimant, valid email ID and mobile number for communication, their claimed amount, their bank account details and security interest, etc. Number third is that claim form along with the embedded declaration must be duly filled in, signed and notarized. Number fourth is that all the corresponding document, all the supporting document must be submitted in a chronological order. For example, agreement between corporate debtor and claimant, the proof of payments made, detailed Excel sheet of claimed amount, that whatever amount you are claiming, whether it's a principal, interest, penal, damages or other charges, must be provide a proper working Excel sheet. Number fifth point is that every creditor must try to send their claim form along with the supporting document in electronic way via email, because it will reach the IRP or RP on the spot and they will get acknowledgement, and this will also create a trail of communication between the claimant and IRP RP. So number six is that the email ID you are mentioning in your claim form must be valid, because all the communication will be through that email ID only. And a separate Excel sheet, separate working file for a claimed amount must be there, and claim amount should be till the CIRP initiation date, not after that. Because what happened in most of the cases that claimant file their claim till the date when they are filing the claim, not till the CIRP initiation date. So all these things must be kept in mind while claiming.
Two queries are emerging into my mind.
Yeah.
One, is there any definite format for making a affidavit or statement? Like what are the broader contents of that affidavit which you said it should be notarized? What are the contents of that affidavit?
So it is a declaration which is already embedded in the claim form. So they do not need to mention or they need to write any separate declaration.
Okay. Then for IPs, you said it is the claims are acknowledged. What is the system, inbuilt system that the claimant knows that his or her claim has reached? What is the system we follow?
So in this, for example, if the IRP RP is using the Gmail ID for inviting the claims, so there is an option that they can set a self-generated acknowledgement which will ensure the claimant that yes, RP is received your claim. Otherwise, what will happen, the frantic call will be received by IRP RP, especially in the case of home buyers, employees and government.
हमारा क्लेम पहुंचा या नहीं पहुंचा, इसी क्यूरियोसिटी खत्म नहीं होती और कॉल्स आती रहती हैं. So one simple acknowledgement through email, I think that should cool them down, that at least their claim is reached at the proper.
Yeah.
That's fine. Richa, I am insolvency professional. Now I would really like to know, how do you handle internally? What are your internal processes once the claim is received, either in a physically or through electronic mode? What are your now internal processes? Can you please guide us?
So it is most important task to maintain the data in a proper way so that IRP RP can perform his duty very well. If our data is well maintained and sorted, then the claim verification can be done accurately and timely. So there are the few things which we must be considered while maintaining our database. So number one, it is always advisable to set up a self-generated acknowledgement, so that the claimant will get the acknowledgement and they will be ensured that their claim received by the IRP RP. Otherwise, a frantic call will be received from the claimants, especially in the case of home buyers, employees and workmen. Number two is that all the claim data must be saved in relevant category of the claim folder. Number third is that all the data what we have received in the hard file must be scanned and saved on server. Number fourth is that all data is very confidential. We should save the data on server and it must be password protected, and the documents which we have received in hard copy must be saved in locked container. Number fifth point is that we should capture the maximum detail in our Excel sheet, so that IRP RP every time do not need to refer to open the hard files and the soft documents. We must capture the entire detail or the maximum details in our Excel sheet. So here I have tried to maintain Excel sheet and the details which I have bifurcated under the various heads. So let's start from the first, that is the general information. So in general information, we can capture the details like name of claimant, date of receipt of claim, their email ID, mobile number, addresses for communication, mode of submission of the claim form, name of authorized representative if any. So number two is the type of claimant, that what type of claim form we have received, whether it's a correct form or not, list of documents submitted by the claimant, whether it is a related party claim or not, and yes, if it is a related party claim, that on what basis we have bifurcated that it is a related party claim. So number third category is information of the claimed amount. The principal amount, interest amount, penal, damages, other charges claimed by the claimant, whether it is a secured claim or unsecured claim. If it is a secured claim, what security charge they have created and details of security interest. Number 4 category is information of admitted amount. The principal amount we have admitted, interest, penal, damages and other charges. The amount which is appearing as per the books of account, amount which is on hold, amount which is under verification, amount which is rejected, and the remarks that why the amount is on hold or why the amount is rejected, or any other remarks that we want to put on for the claimed amount, for the admitted amount. Bank details, number 5th category is the bank details. So bank account number of claimant, bank name, IFSC code, branch details and amount if any which we have remitted to the claimant. So number 6 category is the remarks and communication. That what communication we have shared with the claimant, like we have sent mail them regarding the supporting documents or any of the clarifications. So we should maintain in our Excel sheet the date and the documents which we have asked from the claimant, the time provided for the reply to the claimant, the date when the reply received and what reply we have received from the claimant, or any other remarks that we want to put on in our Excel sheet, like whether it's a litigated case, non-litigated case, or any other remarks. So in this way, all the maximum details we have captured in our Excel sheet, and it will help us in future, and we don't need to refer or open the claim documents again and again.
Fine, that is a very good example how we can structure our database.
Right.
So that as IP, I don't have to refer to claim forms or emails of those claim forms.
Because it's not feasible for us every time to open that documents, emails or hard files.
One query that comes to my mind is you said about the related party.
Yes.
Like, do we really have to rely on the declaration of the claimant whether he or she is a related party, or we need to do some, our own exercise to find out whether it is related or not? At what stage that exercise is?
Yes, we can rely on the declaration as well, which is provided by the claimant, because in the claim form there is a declaration whether you are a related party or not. We can rely on that related party, but in addition to that, we have to do our own exercises as well, that how we can segregate whether it's a related party claim or not.
No, because related party claims stand at a disadvantage. So I, as a claimant, might try to conceal that I am a related party. So my question was in that context: how do we conceal it? At the time of data entry of the claims.
So we can cross check it from the information available us. We can check it from the MCA websites as well, if any of the claim which is filed by the directors or any of the previous directorship, the person who is holding the directorship, or there are the various tools available on the portal and which are free of cost. We can search them. They'll provide us an entire tree of the directorships and the other details. So in this way, we can do our own exercise as well in order to see whether it's a related party claim or not.
Fine, that was very useful input, Richa. Okay, Richa, now we have received the claims. What is your experience? What type of gaps or what type of errors have you identified in the past? And what are your suggestions to handle those gaps of errors?
So we have identified the various types of gaps in different categories of the claimant. So we will discuss one by one. So let's start from the financial creditors. So as we know, the Form C is required to be submitted by the financial creditors, but what happens that the claim form along with the embedded declaration is not duly filled and signed and notarized by the financial creditors. Yeah. And like all the loan documents, for example, sanction letters along with all the renewal letters, mortgage deed, hypothecation deed, ROC charge creation document, acknowledgement of debt, recovery notices sent to corporate debtor, and their reply received by the corporate debtor is not provided to us by the bankers. And number 3 is like loan disbursement statement, which reflect the repayments and the amount disbursed to the corporate debtor is not provided. Interest rate statement and uncharged interest rate statement is not provided by the bankers, from which we can verify the interest rate. And the next is like the claimed amount, the detailed Excel sheet, the detailed working of the claimed amount, like principal amount they have claimed, interest, penal, damages, and how they have derived that amount is not provided to us. Yeah, PAN card of the authorized person and self-attested document of authorized person is not provided by the claimant. And interest or penal or other charges are charged till the date of filing of claim, not till the date of CIRP commencement date. Because we have to approve the amount only till the CIRP initiation date, not after that. So these are few broad gaps that we have identified in case of financial creditors. Anything which you wants to add on here, sir?
Okay. It is important to know what are the gaps in the operational creditors claim. Can you spell out a few for the benefit of people who are watching our video?
Yeah. So for operational creditors also, Form B is required to be submitted. So sometimes what happens that Form B along with the embedded declaration is not duly filled and signed and notarized. The agreement between the corporate debtor and the claimant is not provided, which reflect the terms and conditions between both the parties. Right. For example, service order, work order is not provided to us.
We call it purchase order.
Purchase order,
corporate
service
part.
order. Right. So next is like the invoices raised by the claimant. The actions taken by the claimant for recovery of their monies is not provided to us. The detailed Excel sheet for the claimed amount is not provided to us. And again, yes, the authorized PAN card, the authorization letter and the PAN card of authorized person is not provided to us. And the one main thing, if operational creditor is a company, in that case they can submit us the copy of ledger of corporate debtor in the books of their accounts, from which we can verify the amount, because it's a reliable document, the books of accounts, because no one can manipulate their books of accounts only for one of the claimants. So these are the broad gaps that we have identified in case of operational creditors.
One thing I can add, for financial creditors also and for operational creditors also, suppose there has been some communication to and fro.
Right.
So that strengthens, like the supplier of the services or goods has asked the money back, the corporate debtor says, no, I want a time, I don't have money. So if these kind of correspondence can be enclosed with the claim form, it can strengthen the claim,
Right.
and it will help the IP in coming to logical conclusions.
Right.
That is what I felt. And what about workmen? What are the gaps?
So in case of employees and workmen also, we have identified the various gaps, like Form D, an embedded declaration is not duly filled and signed and notarized. Their appointment letter along with the annual increment letter is not provided to us. Resignation letter, full and final settlement letter is not provided to us, which is mandatory for the calculation of gratuity amount if someone is demanding gratuity. So we must have the resignation letter or full and final settlement letter, so that we can identify, yes, this particular employer or workman have completed their at least 5 years of tenure of employment. Yeah. So next is like they have not provided us the bank statement, they have not provided us the Form 26 AS, the detailed Excel sheet in which the claimed amount is mentioned, that how they have calculated their salary amount, gratuity amount, PF or any other incentive. And self-attested KYC document also not provided to us.
That's very fine input. In fact, this is where the expertise of IP is to be developed, how to examine the gaps. Because once the gaps are properly identified, they are duly filled in, only then the claim can be said to be properly admitted or verified. That was very fine input, Richa. Thank you for that. Now we come to our next query. Verification of claims of home buyers in creditor class. This always is a very tricky situation. Home buyers, they are already vulnerable. They feel they have been cheated, and virtually they are expecting a solace or simply quick decision or quick monies from the IP. There's a great expectations. They are frantic. They are fearful. They are charging you for small delays. What are your experiences for home buyers claim? That will be important for my viewers.
So for the home buyers, first we will talk about that what are the documents must be submitted by the home buyers in order to file their claim. So Form C is required to be submitted by the home buyers along with the supporting documents like builder buyer agreement or the allotment letter. Number 2 is the proof of the payments made. The proof of all the tranches of the payment made to the corporate debtor, for which they can submit as the bank statement highlighting the payments made to the corporate debtor or the loan disbursement statement, demand letter which is raised by the corporate debtor, acknowledgement receipt which is provided by the corporate debtor. In addition to that, they can submit us any RERA or consumer court order in the favor of claimant, and their KYC document must be self-attested. So now the next question arises that how we verify the claim of home buyers. So we'll discuss one by one. So let's start from the basic amount or the principal amount. So principal amount is the actual amount which the claimant have paid to the corporate debtor.
Okay.
So it is total of all the tranches, the total amount which they have submitted to the corporate debtor, and the same can be verified from the books of accounts of corporate debtor if the updated books of accounts are available to us. Otherwise, we have to rely on the supporting documents like the bank statement, loan disbursement statement, or the demand letter which is raised by the corporate debtor. So number 2 is regarding the interest amount. So what interest amount we have provided to the home buyers? It will be provided as per the allotment letter, the rate, whatever the rate is mentioned in the allotment letter. In case allotment letter or builder buyer agreement is silent regarding the rate of interest, same will be provided as per the CIRP regulations, and it is the 8% per annum, and this rate is the simple interest rate, not the compound interest rate. In same will be provided on every tranche of payment made by the claimant till the date of from the date of payment till the CIRP commencement date. So next is regarding the penal interest or other damages charges. So same will be allowed as per the builder buyer agreement or the terms and conditions mentioned in the builder buyer agreement. So for penal amount or damages or other charges, so we will provide it as per the terms and conditions mentioned in the builder buyer agreement. For example, what happened in our one of the CIRP that if the builder default in providing the possession within the due timelines, in that case, builder have to give 5 rupees per month per square feet for the delayed period to the home buyers. So in this way, we verify their principal interest and other charges.
I expect that any home buyer's project under insolvency will not have his books updated, appropriately. There will be a lot of gaps.
Yeah.
So how do you handle, like, the home buyer is claiming some amount, and if you look into the books of accounts of the corporate debtor, it is some different amount. So how do you reconcile? What exactly and how you handle this situation to convince the home buyers?
So in most of the cases, we have seen that updated books of accounts are not available with the IRP, RP. So in that case, we have to rely on the documents provided by the claimant. If someone is providing us the demand letters, bank statement, loan disbursement statement, so we have to rely on that document and admit their amount accordingly.
Fine, that was very good input on the home buyer's claim. Richa, as an IP or IRP, whenever we are putting up a detailed statement of claims, normally we qualify it that the admission or verification of the claim is provisional. These figures may change later on if any additional document is received from the claimant. So how do you reconcile to this, and how important it is?
You are right, sir. The claim submission and verification is a very dynamic, provisional and a continuous process. As we know that first COC is to be constituted after 21 days of CIRP. But the claim submission and the verification continues thereafter. It will lead to change in the members of COC and their corresponding voting sheet. Every COC agenda, there is a one mandatory item which the IRP RP needs to put on, and that is the status of claims by various creditors. And this is always acknowledged by a statement by IRP or RP that the figure of the claim received is provisional, because it might later on change if the IRP RP come across any of the additional document clarification from the existing claimant or any of the new claim received by the IRP RP. For example, if one of the financial creditor claim is received, or any of the financial creditor claim is modified, it will change the entire voting share of every claimant accordingly.
Fine. We kind of protect ourselves for any future
Right, that
claims.
the amount which we have verified or admitted is provisional and it might change later on if we come across any of the additional document or new claim.
Okay. Then next query or question, Richa. How are percentage of claims in CIRP is relevant for stakeholders COC or the resolution application? How are they manipulated? How are they depended upon? Would like to know your experience on this.
So, interim resolution professional, after collation of all the claims and determination of the financial position of the corporate debtor, constitute the committee of creditors. And that committee of creditors comprises all the financial creditors and home buyers of corporate debtor. And all these members will have all the voting rights. Voting rights like voting on every agenda item, voting on resolution plan of corporate debtor. So, how the voting percentage is important for the resolution applicant, sir? Please advise us on that. Please
You
guide
are
us.
asking me this question?
Yeah.
Fine. Okay, I'll share my experience. See, the resolution applicants, they also tend to be manipulative. They would like to have a minimum cost to their resolution plan, but sufficient enough that they get 66% of the voting share. And they will identify, suppose it is a COC, let's say of 5 different sets of committee of creditors or financial creditors or unsecured creditors. So he will aim at those 66%. He will try to please only that set of 66% of voting share which he thinks will be benefited by their offers. So he'll be strategically neglecting the remaining 34 or 30% or 28% because he cannot please everyone. So he will try to please only 66% of the voting share and he may try to neglect others because once he collects 66% of the voting share, his plan is full. So this is the strategy of the resolution applicant and this is how the voting share is important for the resolution applicants.
Thank you so much for explaining.
Yeah. Then one more query, can IRP-RP outsource the claim verification work?
Yes, IRP-RP can outsource the claim verification work, but the ultimate responsibility will be of IRP-RP for any of the decision taken regarding the claim amount.
He cannot later on take a plea that I have arranged a professional help, so I am not responsible.
No, he cannot take such kind of, because he is the RP, he is the ultimate responsible person for any organization.
Fine. Okay, then finally the last question of this session. Can you please tell us about the timelines for filing claims? Do we accept claims after last date of submission? Is it permissible?
So, as per the regulation 12.2, it was specifically amended and states that claim could be filed within the 90 days of CIRP commencement date. But earlier, what we are also doing in our of the CIRP is that we were accepting the claims even after the 90 days because earlier there were the judgment that the IRP-RP can accept the claim even after the 90 days. For example, in one of the matter of Edelweiss Asset Reconstruction Company Private Limited versus Ade Landmarks Limited, in which NCLT clarifies that IRP-RP cannot reject the claim only on the matter of delay because the regulation 12.2 is directory and not mandatory. But now the situation is something different. Now, as per the recent orders and the judgments of NCLT, the IRP-RP have to accept the claim if the same is filed within the due timelines. If, after that, IRP have to reject the claim. The legislation has not provided any discretion to IRP-RP to accept the claim after the due timelines. So, accordingly, as per the recent judgments of the NCLT, the claim could be filed and accepted till these 90 days of CIRP initiation.
So, what if as a claimant, I have submitted a claim after 90 days and you as IP or as IRP has rejected the claim, what remedy I have?
So, the creditor may move an application to the NCLT for condoning the debt.
Okay,
And if the NCLT permit, then RP can accept the claim even after the 90 days.
that's fine. Thank you, Richa, for all the useful tips or guidance on this claim verification under CRP. I'm sure all your talks would be very useful for our IP brothers and sisters, and our effort as ASC Insolvency Services LLP, the IPE, they are benefiting the IP fraternity, and this module was on CRP claim verification, but shortly we will be coming out with another module of claim verification under liquidation process. So Richa will be helping us in that also. Thank you very much, Richa, once again. In case of any queries, you can come back to us. You will have our numbers available on this video also. You can reach out to us.
Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.
Thank you.